And away we go. All right, welcome in on this Thursday into the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Farm Bureau Insurance, go with the home team. They are your home team at Farm Bureau Insurance all across the great state of Mississippi. I'm Matt. Beaver is here, and you are here. I'm glad you're here. Therefore, we got a reason to be here today on this day where we are, outside of the sports world, everything in real life and, politically and militarily and everything else, our heads are kind of spinning, with the events of yesterday. And then, of course, 24 years ago today, September 11th, 2001. So lots of memorials and things that we're seeing and involved in, with that here today. So it's like sports is probably has a good chance on a day like this to be what it really is kind of supposed to be, I guess, which is just a bit of a break from everything else. Really, when you get down to it, that's really kind of what it is and what it's supposed to be. I think a bit of a break from everything else. And when I say a bit, in the case of this show, a couple of hours we can get together maybe and chat about some football and look back and look ahead and see what games are coming up. And if nothing else, for a couple of hours, we can all just kind of talk sports and have a little sports and get our minds off everything else, if that's okay with you. So that's what we'll kind of shoot for today on this September the 11th, 2025. You can be a part of the show. Hey to you. If you're out there in YouTube or Facebook or X, formerly Twitter land, then all you got to do is type in a comment right there. Just post it, and I can see it right here. And, let's see what else. Oh, yeah. Text me on the Country Pleasing text line. The number to text is 885-3776, 601 number. Excuse me, 885-3776. If you text that number, I'll get it here on the Country Pleasing text line. Country Pleasing sausage on grocery store shelves all around the Southeast. It's the best sausage, hands down. That's my opinion, but shared by many others. So text away. Just don't text if you're driving. Otherwise, text away. And give me a call. Call me on the all-new Junction phone line, fueled by Prince Oil Company. They've been fueling Central Mississippi since 1960. You can put a little fuel in your gas tank, then go inside of the deli in the Junction, get a little fuel for your belly. That's right. So give me a call on the Junction line. The number is 897-1059. That's a 601 number, 897-1059. Over here on YouTube, Hilton, the first to comment, he said, "What's up, Matt? Back at you." What's up? Glad you're here today. I already had a question, too, about the game that's on the monitor. If you're watching on the live stream over there, Facebook, YouTube, or on X, old Twitter. The game that's on the monitor up here, the TV in here, is the Capital City Classic from 1994. Jackson State versus Alcorn State. I'm not doing play-by-play, but there's a touchdown pass that just happened right there on the tape from Steve McNair, right at the seam to somebody. I think that was the first touchdown in the game. But 94, Steve McNair and Alcorn versus Jackson State, Capital City Classic. That's the one we got playing on the screen in here today. Of course, State getting ready to play Alcorn State this weekend. Looking forward to that. Lots of friends and neighbors and fellow citizens of the state of Mississippi all get together and start with this weekend for a football game. Of course, a couple of great bands, including the Sound of Dynamite from Alcorn State. So we're looking forward to that. And a whole slate of games to kind of get into. And some of it's going to start tonight. I see what you got ACC teams playing tonight. NC State is at Wake Forest, I think. And, of course, the NFL is a pretty interesting game, isn't it? Green Bay and Washington. So Commanders going to Green Bay to play the Packers. And Micah Parsons, new pass rusher after getting traded. Of course, all eyes are on him. So you got that tonight. And then there's some Friday stuff. Of course, I say Friday stuff like college football. But, of course, high school football tomorrow. which will be a full week 3, I think, for everybody. Then the game's on Saturday, and here we go. Here we go. Now, regarding Wake Forest, what is it? Sven says on YouTube, Wake is near unwatchable. They are really bad. I don't know who they played in the first 2 weeks, Sven, but they beat them, right? So they're 2-0, but Sven says they're almost unwatchable. They're really, really bad. Jared comments on Facebook. He said, "What's up, Matt? We need another comeback. Still got your cleats ready?" Let me tell you. Yeah, I could run one play. As long as I don't have to run or anything like that. Catch it, throw it. I might complete a hitch, Jared, or slant. I might be able to do that. David commented on Facebook. He's watching in Norwich, England. Said, hey from, well, he said hi, but over here we say hey. And in some cases, howdy. From Norwich, England. How about that? Yeah, and Sven, I saw that. The baseball schedule coming out yesterday. Sven commented, said States baseball SEC schedule came out. He said it's really tough, and we start at Baum Stadium in Fayetteville, Arkansas. Then late April, 23rd through 25th, you're going to host LSU. I saw that too. It looked like a pretty tough one to me, right? You start off with Arkansas and Vanderbilt back-to-back. At least you get Vandy at home, but still, yeah, it's still pretty tough for sure. And on the country pleasing text line, Jason in Flagstaff texted the show. He says it's a Charlie Brown thing, and I don't think this is one of the original Charlie Brown comic strip, but someone, lots of people make memes and stuff out of it. But one of them is Charlie Brown talking to Snoopy, and Charlie Brown said, "What do you miss?" And Snoopy's response was, "I miss the way I viewed the world before I knew too much about it." And Jason, I think a lot of people are feeling that way today. Unnamed texter texted in and said, "Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. Good man, husband, father, killed for speaking his opinion peacefully, definitely with Jesus today." I do think he was absolutely a believer. Bama fan texted and said, Bama gets Ryan Williams back and possibly jam Miller Roll Tide. Yeah, against, who is it? Wisconsin. I drew a blank there for just a second, Bama fan, and who it is Alabama's playing this weekend. Yeah, they're playing Wisconsin, and Wisconsin's actually in the news. So let's just do that. Let's make it a part of our news, our headlines here on the show.
Good evening. I'm Ron Burgundy, and this is what's happening in your world.
Good evening, and welcome to Eyewitness News.
Here's what's making news.
Headlines on the show brought to you by the Mortgage Man Group, powered by Illuminate Bank, right here in Mississippi. So anything mortgage related, buying, refinancing, whatever, anywhere in the state of Mississippi, that's where you want to go. Look them up online at mortgagemanms.com, mortgagemanms.com. Yeah, so here you go, Bama fan, for you. Headline number one, you're getting some players back, but Wisconsin isn't. Wisconsin quarterback Billy Edwards Jr. is unlikely to play at Alabama on Saturday. That's according to sources. Now, he is expected to travel with the team. He's going to warm up for the game and all that, but long odds as far as being able to play. Edwards sprained his knee in the opening 17-0 win over Miami. That would be Miami of Ohio. He's week to week. Wisconsin coach Luke Fickell said earlier in the week that he's been rehabbing, pushing forward, and the team will be prepared either way. And so there you go. Most likely will not play against Alabama. That's Wisconsin's starting quarterback. So they'll go to the backup. Imagine that. Hey, kid, welcome to big-time college football. You're starting. We're in Tuscaloosa this weekend. Have fun. Let's see how it goes. There's a transfer portal story out here, and I'll be really careful. It will not be long. I'll just give you the high points. Because this is one of those things. It's kind of like NIL, this transfer portal stuff. There's this window, that window. It used to be a different window, and now it's a couple of windows, or it used to be we really only want one window. You see what I mean? Like, it can really be confusing, so we're not going to go on and on about it. But let me just give you this. So this comes from yesterday, so it's pretty recent. SEC coaches expressed support for a proposed move of college football's transfer portal window. Right now, it is in December. The SEC coaches are all supporting a move of that transfer portal window to January. They're saying that's the best option, and that even if it does conflict with the college football playoff. That whole line that, crying from the yacht that Kirby Smart used, he's got other SEC coaches using it. Brian Kelly said it yesterday in a teleconference. He said, I'm sorry, there's no crying on the yacht. I mean, he says, we've got to get this thing set in the best position. He thinks January is going to be it. Make a long story short, I'll end it right there. Just know this. Right now, football transfer portal window to get in it and go is December. They say move it to January. So, for what it's worth. And final headline, brought to you by the Mortgage Man Group. 4 arrests have been made in connection with the shooting of Florida State football player Ethan Pritchard. 4 people. This is in Tallahassee. Have been arrested in connection to that shooting of Florida State linebacker Ethan Pritchard. The news came out yesterday. The authorities say that Pritchard himself, who was driving a car with a family member in it, was not doing anything wrong and was ambushed outside of an apartment last month. The authorities said that Pritchard was dropping off a family member, an aunt, and a child when he was shot in the back of the head. He remains in critical but stable condition at Tallahassee Memorial Hospital. This all happened on August 31st. They've arrested 4 in connection, and that's good news. Those are your headlines brought to you by the Mortgage Man Group, powered by Luminate Bank, right here in Mississippi. Look them up online at mortgagemanms.com. Mortgagemanms.com. Andre from Jackson texted in. His prediction is Alabama 41, Wisconsin 17. Now there's one more prediction here in Andre's text to us on the Country Pleasin' text line. Country Pleasin' sausage on grocery store shelves all around the Southeast. There's one more in here. And I kind of giggle just because, I don't know how realistic it is or isn't, but something like this has never crossed my mind. It's interesting to think about. He says the next head coach at Arkansas will be Dan Mullen.
Come on, all you Razorback fans. Let's stand up and call those hogs.
What do you think? So Andre, are you saying after this year they're going to get rid of Sam Pittman at Arkansas, and after one season as UNLV's head coach, that Arkansas is going to hire Dan Mullen? I mean, wouldn't it be interesting? And I'll say, I'm pretty sure he would do a good job there. I don't know how you feel about it, but I am pretty sure he would do a good job. And I'm sure, too, there's some good old boys. And, because people in Arkansas are really nice, laid back, down to earth, just good folks, for the most part in Arkansas. And there's going to be some of those people not going to like hanging out with Dan Mullen. He's a little coarse. But I think he would probably do a good job with the football team. Airborne Dog texts the show, Country Please, and texted, hey, Matt, went to Ohio to visit family and had 20 Ohio State Michigan fans watching the game with me. Talking about State's game. State made some new fans. They loved seeing Arizona State get exposed. Well, how about that? We're just bringing them in the fold, aren't we, Airborne? Like, are they all buying maroon and white stuff and just totally giving up Buckeye this and Wolverine that? Just giving it up, right? I guess not. But we can be their secondary or tertiary team that they root for since we don't play each other. No, that's cool. J-Rock texts the show. He says, welcome to the SEC, Coach O'Connor. Conference schedule has 8, maybe 9 teams that'll be in super regionals. Hail State. Yeah, I mean, it's true. It's really true. The schedule for State, the baseball schedule is pretty tough. I mean, but it's not the only tough baseball schedule. There's a bunch of them. All right, and I told you that Andre and Jackson had the prediction for the Alabama game of 41-17 over Wisconsin. Bama fan upped it a little bit. He said the final score will be 42-10. 42-10 is what he is predicting. Hey, all right, so Wisconsin is 2-0. I'm looking at them going to Tuscaloosa this week. Alabama's like a 3-touchdown favorite. Wisconsin is 2-0. They have the win in the season opener 17-0 over Miami of Ohio. Then last week, they pretty much destroyed Middle Tennessee State 42-10. You know, Middle Tennessee, lost their season opener to Austin Peay at home, which is a bit of an upset. Chris Parson, the former Mississippi State quarterback's Austin Peay starting quarterback. Austin Peay was actually pretty competitive at times last week at Georgia. Of course, didn't win, wasn't going to, but were pretty competitive at times. So, yeah, you know, if Alabama puts it all together, and especially getting a couple players back like Orion Williams, you know, it should make a big difference for them. But I don't know. Who knows what we'll see? Who knows what we'll see out of Alabama? I mean, you've seen 2 weeks, and, you know, after 2 weeks, it's Jekyll and Hyde. Who really knows what we're going to see from Alabama? I don't think I really know. Let's see. Brian commented on Facebook to start us off today. He said, Matt, what's up? Longtime MSU fan all my life. He says, what is up with all these Homer fans on these Facebook pages still downing our team even after they won? Well, I don't know, Brian. I don't see it myself. I have a hard time sometimes locking in with you on, you know, like what the buzz is or what the narratives are out there in social media stuff, because I've sort of in my everyday life, for the most part, I've sort of gotten to a point where, yes, I share content on social media platforms, but I very rarely consume any. And so sometimes you may miss something, but also I don't see what those things are. So I don't really know. Here's somebody with a good memory. They're referencing the 99 Auburn game. Fourth quarter comeback. Jared says, Matthew Butler's always ready. Yeah, he was. I'm sure he still is. I sure am glad he caught that ball. I know that much. Yeah. Okay, regarding the baseball schedule, Sven said we had the easiest last season, so it's just fair to give us the big boys. Really? So State had the easiest one last year. I didn't know that. Brian is in here watching the show, who commented earlier. He's in Nacogdoches, Texas. I know right where that is, Brian. Brian, have you ever been fishing at Lake Sam Rayburn? If you're from Nacogdoches, Texas, you're not too far from there, are you? All right, and then Sven says, Matt, I'll give you something to think about. South Carolina beat Virginia Tech week 1, only with help from special teams. They're ranked 11th. Vandy beats the brakes off Virginia Tech week 2, unranked. Explain. All right, Sven. This came up on Monday. It might have come up again Tuesday, but I know it came up on Monday. So let me just go ahead and put it out there. There has been some buzz this week. All you got to do is go to like X and search in the search bar, type in college football, right? Or you could do AP college football poll and all kinds of stuff, come up specific. Generally what I'll do each day is, before we come on the air, I'll go search and see what it says if you search college football. But all you have to do is do that to see that there's people out there who are really mad and upset about who is ranked in the Associated Press poll and who isn't ranked in the Associated Press poll. Vanderbilt and Mississippi State are two teams that there's a lot of people that are irked by the fact that they're not in the Associated Press top 25 poll. Okay, so, and even some big, like, I saw one from, I think it was maybe Danny Cannell, who was, you know, he's got a big voice, and he was going off about the Associated Press poll and how bad it is. And then the thing happened. I'm sure you saw this, Finn, because, again, this pops up. You got to do search it. It pops up all over the place. There's that woman who, I don't know who she writes for and who she covers and why she has a vote, but she has an Associated Press college football poll vote each week. And she did, like, her votes had all kinds of crazy things in it. Like Florida losing to South Florida and the Gators moved up like 2 spots in her poll and, you know, stuff like that. And boy, they tried to call her out and really embarrass her and talk about how stupid she is. But here's the thing, Sven. In an interview, like it looked like a Zoom interview she gave, she came out and said, quote, "It probably doesn't really matter that much in the end," end quote. Well, people just tore her to pieces for saying that. How dare you? Like, don't even vote. You shouldn't have a vote if you don't think it really matters. You know what, though? Here's the thing, Sven. She's telling the truth. She's right about it. There has never been a time in the history of the existence of the Associated Press on earth when its college football poll had less bearing on anything. It's never mattered less than it does right now. It doesn't affect the college football playoff poll. The playoff is now expanded. The fact that we even have it, the fact that we even use it, it's strictly perception to drive some dollars on some TV games. That's it. It is no indication of who is good, who isn't, and who ought to be talked about and all that stuff. The AP poll, I mean, it's a joke. I'm not wasting my time on it. Stick around.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. Local agents in all 82 counties. So here's what that means. You have that fender bender, hopefully you don't, but let's say you do at an odd time. Something goes on. It's Saturday night at 11 p.m. You don't have to wait until Monday morning to call some 800 number and talk to someone 3 states away. You've got your agent's phone number right there on your phone because you go to church with him. Your kids go to school together. He lives right down the road. You see each other at the ball games on Friday nights. So it's personal with your local Farm Bureau insurance agent in all 82 counties in this entire state. And if anything does arise and you need to, run it up the chain or up the flagpole, the home offices for Farm Bureau Insurance are in Jackson, Mississippi. It's right here in the state of Mississippi. It doesn't get more local than and personal, the service that you get with Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. I can't recommend them highly enough. And if you haven't, recently, let them give you a quote. Home, life, auto. It's Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Well, look at what we have here. Christmas come early. Boom. Little green onion country pleasing. That's not all. Little original smoked sausage flavor. That's not all. Jalapeno and cheddar. It has to be one of my favorite, just judging by how much of that stuff I eat. Oh, can't forget. Andouille. Don't be saying andouille, it's andouille. And last, but not least, pork and pineapple. Bun size, 3 links, bun size. Look at that right there. Be careful. Come on with it. It's mine. Come here, jalapeno. Oh, that's all mine. Country pleasing sausage. We'll be right back after this message from C Spire. My name is Matt Wyatt. I host the Matt Wyatt radio show out of my home using C Spire fiber.
And when we hit the road as a family, Matt's show goes with us, thanks to C Spire Wireless.
Its ultra-reliable nationwide network lets me broadcast live from anywhere.
And never miss a moment that matters.
Connecting you to what inspires you most on C Spire's blazing fast 5G network. And right now, get your choice of free phone. That's customer inspired. That's C Spire.
Y'all like coffee? I know you do. Check it out. Little High Point Roasters from New Albany, Mississippi. That is the breakfast blend. It's a whole bean. And if you notice, that's how much I've had already. Brazil Oberon. Not Orgeron or Orgeron, you LSU. No, Brazil Oberon. That ain't all. What we got there? What flavor is that? Papua New Guinea grade AA. Bring it on. High Point Roasters, New Albany, Mississippi. Roasted right there. That's whole bean. One more. I got more. Ah, tried and true. Magnolia.
The Zone 105.9 and worldwide at thezone1059.com.
All right, back with you. I'm Matt. In the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio, Farm Bureau, go! With the home team. Chris on X, formerly Twitter, says hashtag Hail State. Back at you, Chris. Jared commented on Facebook. He said, my biggest football worry is with Will Whitson out. Arizona State second half showed how to run against us. Says, I also feel our, quote, winnable SEC games are all on the road, which are difficult, as you know, when it comes to road SEC games. Yeah. Yeah, it's one of the reasons the schedule is just as tough as it is, right? Some of those games, Arkansas, Missouri, I mean, they're good teams. You got to play really well to beat them anywhere, but it's really hard to go to their place. Yeah, and then you get Georgia at home and Tennessee and Texas and some of these teams and programs who are kind of at the top of the game and at the top of the talent chart. You get those at home. But, hey, look, the thing about that is, though, look at it the reverse way, Jared. Look at it the reverse way. You know, any progress this year, not progress, any sort of ahead of schedule measure, any real feather, that says you're ahead of schedule, it's going to be measured by upsets anyway. Right? I mean, that's it. The memories and things because of the schedule and where you are as a program in year 2 of a rebuild, it's really going to be measured by your upsets anyway. You've already got one. Well, it's a lot easier. Well, no, wait, let me take that back. That's the wrong word. The chances of upsetting someone, go way up when you're playing at home. So if you got to play the Georgias and Texases and Tennessees to try to go out here and pull off some monumental upset that you're really going to hang your hat on for this year that could springboard your program and recruiting and all that kind of stuff and positivity, right, and momentum, then maybe at home. Maybe at home it's better then. So there's a silver lining. This kind of depends on how you look at it, I guess. Regarding those AP rankings, Sven says Mississippi State should not be ranked. We beat a mediocre middle-of-the-road Big 12 team without Cam Scatterbo. Yeah. Okay, but here's the point, Sven. This is the point. This is the overall point. So what if they are? So what if they aren't? Okay, really, just take this let's go whole ball of wax here. You're saying they shouldn't be ranked, okay? Of course, right now, week 2, week 3, the only rankings you have is what? We got the AP. Then say you have the coaches poll, but it mirrors the AP. Why? I'll tell you why. Because most of them, coaches aren't voting in that thing. It's their name, but their SIDs, the one filling it out. Coaches don't have time to fool with it and don't care anyway. Or they just tell them kind of, hey, make sure you put us about this range and then elsewhere. I don't care what you do. Okay, so it's like the AP. Well, you say they shouldn't be ranked. Someone else says they should. What difference does it make? What impact on anything does the ranking right now, week 2 or 3, in an Associated Press poll, what bearing does it have on anything? What effect does it have on anything? The answer is it affects nothing. Certainly not pragmatically. Certainly not realistically. It affects nothing. It's never been a bigger waste of time than it is right now in an era where we not only have a playoff, we have a playoff poll that is decided by people in a room, doesn't come out till October. Oh, by the way, we just expanded the playoffs. It's going to take 12 teams in this poll. It's the only thing that matters, period. And whether anybody believes it or not, the truth is what the poll does, what this AP poll does now, has no effect at all on what that college football playoff committee does in its rankings. None. So, so what I'm saying is, you say they should not be ranked. Who cares if they are or if they aren't? It simply does not matter anymore. You and I both are old enough to remember a time when it did matter, and it did have an effect on placing in bowl games and all that kind of stuff. So what is happening? Here's the real answer, and then I'm jumping over to the phone. The real answer is they know that. Coaches, commissioners, TV partners, they know what I just said. They would agree with me in privacy. It's a big bag of hot air. That's what the AP poll is. But, hey, week 2, we don't have the college football playoff yet. And so we can put a nice number beside one team that's playing against another team in prime time, and boy, howdy, does that help us to promote it. There you go. Once again, it is perception. The college football playoff poll is reality. Any other poll, including these now, is merely perception. And it's merely to fool anybody they can fool, to drive as many of those fools' dollars into their pocket. All right, over to the phone. The all-new Junction phone line, fueled by Prince Oil Company here in Mississippi. On line 1, it's Wayne. What's up, Wayne?
Oh, man, ain't much. But this ain't, I'm told right now, man, even they're not, this early in the season, they're not worth 10 cents,
This worth nothing.
Unless do you agree or disagree?
I agree with you. It is worth nothing.
All right, buddy. Y'all have a good weekend. Give me that Jackson State fight song.
Yes. Hey, in fact, you know what I've got? And I'll play it for you a little bit now. This is a recording of the Sonic Boom's performance in the stands when they played in Hattiesburg last weekend. Wayne, I appreciate the call. Call me anytime.
All right, brother.
Does anybody recognize the song? Man, listen, they are so good, it is ridiculous. I mean, the Sonic Boom, they are so good, it is ridiculous. Over to line 2 of the Junction phone, it's Jason in Flagstaff. What's up, Jason?
Nothing much. You hear me all right?
Loud and clear.
All right. Well, I was calling for something else. I've got to address this remark that Arizona State was just an overrated Big 12 team without Scatterboo and all that. What did I say last week? If State won this game, I don't want to hear that nonsense. The State got run off their own field last year by Toledo.
They sure did, yeah.
And then they beat a playoff team from last year. A very good, experienced team, whether anybody wants to admit it or not. That was a dang good team that State beat last weekend.
Yeah, and they showed it in the second half.
Give them their props. Yeah. Oh, I sent you a screenshot of where I was talking to Arizona Wildcats beat writer here who's an AP voter, and I think he probably agrees with you that it's ridiculous how they do things. But, yeah, I called because I sent a message to – I can't remember who it was that, on the fifth quarter post-game show the other night they were saying send questions to this or that.
Yeah.
And so I did, and I completely forgot about it. And I got back in the truck last night after my son's soccer game and just happened to be on Dog Talk. And Uncle Neil asked Coach Lebby the question, which was, I think I said I had watched that last play several dozen times, and it looks like they're not even trying to play for the field goal there.
Mm-hmm.
And Coach Levy pretty much verified that they did not even consider going for the field goal. They were trying to win the game on that drive.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty outstanding there.
Yeah, it is. And doesn't it, okay, if that's the mindset, then it makes sense why there was never any consideration to try to, let them score on the other end. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like to save time, to give yourself more time and play for the tie. It all makes sense. If that's the way he's looking at it, then yeah, okay, he was dead set on digging in, getting a stop, which they got. And then once you got the stop, it's like, this ain't field goal stuff. It's touchdown stuff. It just shows you, to me, I think, Jason, that these coaches and players are so much more, frankly, like confident in themselves and aggressive than we are as even fans. They're aggressive.
I appreciate the crap out of that, because there's so many coaches. The reputation is that they're kind of safe. They play the statistics and all this sort of thing. To hear a coach come right out and say, we're going to try to win the game here, that's refreshing, and at some point it's probably going to bite us in the butt.
Yeah.
But it's still, I like to hear that. So
yep.
I fully support Coach Levy now. If I didn't before, I do now. He's going to try to win.
That's interesting. I appreciate it. Yeah. Yeah, thanks, Jason. You too. Have a great one.
Bye-bye.
That's interesting. He said, there's a guy in Jason that from his perspective, he's going, okay, if he didn't already have my full support, he really does now, because he just admitted, you're hosting Arizona State. We get the stop. They're up by 3. The idea of going and kicking to tie this game and play overtime never crossed our mind. The whole purpose of the whole thing, every play call, was about getting down there and scoring a touchdown. And really cool to see it work. Arizona State helped them a little bit by tripping on a safety blitz. That doesn't happen. That play might be a lot different. Might, but we'll never know. Back after this. Stick around.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
The Junction Delis, convenience redefined, and Prince Oil Company, a match made in heaven. The Junction Deli, fueled by Prince Oil Company. Prince Oil Company has been fueling Central Mississippi since 1960. It's a pretty good little while. Wonderful people. Man, am I ever more tickled that they're a part of the show and I'm a part of their team now. As you know, if you listen to the radio show, I've been to the Junction in several different places around the state. I've bought gas just like you at a lot of places that are fueled by Prince Oil Company, and they are really wonderful people. By the way, that brand spanking new Junction Deli, Chevron, right across the highway from Germantown High School. It's in Canton, but we say Gluckstadt. Do you realize they and other Junction Delis, they serve country-pleasing sausage over there on the buffet? They don't get much better than that. The Junction and Prince Oil Company. That's what I'm talking about. We'll be right back after this message from C Spire. My name is Matt Wyatt. I host the Matt Wyatt radio show out of my home using C Spire fiber.
And when we hit the road as a family, Matt's show goes with us, thanks to C Spire Wireless.
Its ultra-reliable nationwide network lets me broadcast live from anywhere.
And never miss a moment that matters.
Connecting you to what inspires you most on C Spire's blazing fast 5G network. And right now, get your choice of free phone. That's customer inspired. That's C Spire.
Welcome to my photography studio downtown Tupelo. Everybody needs a headshot, especially if you're in the professional world, in sales, any sort of customer related business, outreach business, anything like that. Everybody needs a headshot. Here at my photography studio in Tupelo, we do a lot more than just headshots, but we're kind of focusing on headshots for that very reason, because everybody needs it. Let me show you a little something about it. One thing I'm able to do here is sort of have 2 to 3 different looks in a small space that we can do in a short amount of time. Several different looks and styles of lighting with studio equipment, studio lighting. Some with flash and a particular look that I've worked on a constant lighting scenario where you sit down, the lights are already on, you lean in, and we kind of illuminate the whole face. And we get several options in the studio in a short amount of time. Here's 2 priorities for me when I shoot headshots. One is it has to look like you. Okay, none of this fake stuff. The other goal is it's got to look like you at your best. And that's my job as a photographer. And I've got a lot of experience over the years, and I feel really confident I can do that for you. I would love to schedule a session for you here at the studio in downtown Tupelo. I'm above the Reed's Gift Shop, just off of Troy Street, the corner of Troy and Spring. If you can't get to Tupelo, that's okay. Let's talk about it, because we can pack the studio up and come to you if the schedules fit and that sort of thing. I'd love to help you with your headshots. I think everybody needs them. I'm inviting you to please email me, reach out. You can go to my website, mattwhyattmedia.com, email address matt@mattwhyattmedia.com, and let's talk about your headshot. Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi, local agents in all 82 counties. So here's what that means. You have that fender bender, hopefully you don't, but let's say you do at an odd time. Something goes on. It's Saturday night at 11 p.m. You don't have to wait until Monday morning to call some 800 number and talk to someone 3 states away. You've got your agent's phone number right there on your
Worldwide at thezone1059.com.
Back with you. I'm Matt. Hey, this is pretty cool. I didn't know this. Gene says on Facebook that the replay of the Mississippi State South Carolina football game in 2001, which is the first college game back after 9/11, will appear on Mississippi Public Television tonight at 7 p.m. Thanks for letting me know that, Gene. That's neat. I didn't know that. Back with you in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Farm Bureau Insurance, go with the home team. They are your home team at Farm Bureau all across the great state of Mississippi. Your hometown heroes, that's your local Farm Bureau insurance agents in all 82 counties. Well, I didn't get a chance to chop it up with him yesterday. I was out doing some other work. It's a real pleasure to get back into the Farm Bureau studio and connected via C-Spire with my man Beav. Beaver, happy Thursday. You doing all right?
I'm good, Matt Wyatt.
Attaboy. I have a very important question for you.
You say that, and I'm being led to believe that maybe it's not really literally that important.
Yeah. In the grand scheme, it's really not. It's important to me. Can I say that? It's just important to me. Mainly. The other night at my in-laws' house in Vicksburg, Mississippi, this was on Tuesday night. I was working in the metro area, in and around the area all day Tuesday. Of course, was on the air Tuesday and then working again in the area yesterday. But overnight, Tuesday night, spent the night with them. And Beav, I am known to every now and then, especially if I'm there and they're not there, to just go snooping around in their cupboard. Or what's the other word for that? Some
pantry.
Pantry. I couldn't think of pantry. And I found a box of something I did not know existed. It is called the Oreo Cake Stir. They are Oreo cake stirs. Before I even got one out of the box to look at it and decide whether or not I wanted to eat it, I took a picture of the box, sent it to you. As I was consuming my first ever Oreo Cakester, you messaged me back to say, and I quote, well, no, this is a paraphrase, Matt, I ate a whole box of them. Did I get that right? Did you really eat a whole box?
I did one time. And because that, you remember the first words before I disclosed that to you, I says to you, Oh, Matt White, you be careful with those. Because, ... I one time ate a whole box.
So I texted my mother-in-law. They're hers. They came out of her pantry, and they weren't there. They were on the way back from a ball game. And I texted. I said, "I'm trying this Oreo Cakester." She sends back all caps. They're good, aren't they? This is a new thing, and I would say it was really good. And I did not check the caloric total on the nutrition facts on the box, but I have a feeling that one of these Oreo Cakesters probably isn't as many calories as a handful of Oreo cookies. You know what I'm saying? And buddy, I have a hard time eating just one Oreo cookie. I eat a handful at a time, and that's the problem with that. Beav, for those that haven't had an Oreo Cakester, how would you describe it to them?
So it's in the shape of an Oreo, except the chocolate parts are cake. That's why they're called Cakesters. I'd say they're about, what would you say, twice the size of a regular Oreo cookie?
Yes. Both in diameter and in thickness, whatever that is. Girth, maybe. You know what I'm saying?
So it's the cream in the middle, and it's more of a whipped cream. But it's just like it's just like an Oreo cookie, except it's cake and it's a little bigger.
Do you know, Beav, that I also found myself thinking this tastes just like an Oreo? It's not something that's similar. Okay, I had another thought, Beav. When you were eating the whole box of them, did it ever cross your mind to dip it in milk?
It may have crossed my brain at some point. It probably did.
See, it didn't cross mine until I was already finished. And then I thought, man, I should have dipped that in milk. And then I go, well, if I'm going to do that, I'd have to eat another one. I held off at that point, but I'm going to get a hold of some of these. Last thing, what do you think about the name? You like the name Cakester?
Yeah, I like Cakester. I'm fine with that.
Okay. Because I'm saying, like, if I were a kid and I saw that name, and if I had a friend who liked the sweets, I'd probably give him that nickname from now on. He'd be the Cakester.
The Cakester.
Yeah. Beav, we got it. If we did it. I was wondering how long we could go, but we just got it. Less than 1 minute ago, less than 60 seconds ago, it just came through on the Country Pleasing text line. Unnamed texter says, "What a great sports show!" Laughing emoji.
I also I love when this happens too, because I don't know if you notice from your setup over there, but that is literally the first text that has ever come from this number.
It's the first one, isn't it? What a great first impression. It's kind of, the laughing emoji throws me off after it. It's obviously someone that tunes in here and on this Thursday is a little taken aback by us talking about an Oreo Cakester that I discovered. The fact that they have never texted us before leads me to believe, okay, that maybe they are not familiar with the history of this show. Those that are not surprised. But to whomever, thanks for the laughing emoji. It leads me to believe you're not taking it too seriously. There's a little bit of sarcasm in your comment. What a great sports show. Yeah, because we didn't do sports in this last 5 minutes. Beav, what did we do for the previous 40 to 42 minutes of this radio show?
There was some sports.
Yeah, hard sports. Okay, and that'll happen again in hour 2. So everybody just back off. Get yourself an Oreo Cakester and just relax. Unnamed texter says, Matt and B, my wife found Reese's Oreos the other day at Walmart. Unreal good. Okay, we heard about that. I think it was Beaver who may have given me the heads up that they were going to do a collab. And so I'm glad to know that they're really good. I was telling Beaver the other day I got a hold of the Reese's stuffed pretzels, pretzel bites. Reese's, I don't know. It's that. Reese's stuffed pretzel buns. Hey, y'all want to hear some more of that Sonic Boom? This is from their performance at Southern Miss in Hattiesburg this past week, the JSU Sonic Boom. Doing a little George Michael for everybody up in the stands. Ridiculously good. Robbie commented and said, hey, unnamed person, this is the best sports show, period. Thanks, Robbie. War Eagle to you, sir. Guilty feet have got no rhythm. Nick texted the show, said, the cakester, eating cakes, making crumbs. Rob Snyder from back in the day on SNL. The JSU Sonic Boom. Turn it up to 11. This is actual performance at the Rock in Hattiesburg this past week at the game. They can make anything cool, even George Michael. State Grad 98 said, I didn't know this was a sports talk show. So he's been listening for years, and he just found out that it's a sports talk show. He said, Hail State and go East Texas A&M. He's the man who, if he didn't go to State, he was going to go to East Texas A&M. And last week was the first time I'd ever heard of those. See, so it's a little give and take. You know, some of y'all, it's the first time you've ever heard of the Oreo Cakester. For me, last week's the first time I'd ever heard of East Texas A&M. Okay, and then let me lay this on you before we go to the break and head over into hour number 2 of the show. Beaver has done a little research. He's come across something. This is the first I've seen of this. So the fact that it comes from Beaver, it means it's coming from a reliable source. M&M's releases new honey roasted peanut flavor. Ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about peanut M&M's, the goat of all candies like that. Peanut M&M's, but instead of regular peanuts on the inside, we got honey roasted peanuts in the peanut M&M's. Give me some sooner than later.
Hey, Matt, real quick, do you ever get the feeling that people that have no idea what we look like get the impression that we are like 350 pounds each?
There's no doubt. There's no doubt, people listening think we're two big uns. And we're not really that big. Hour 2 coming up in the Bureau. Stick around.
After these messages, we'll be right back. Yeah. After these messages, we'll be right back.
Well, look at what we have here. Christmas come early. Boom. Little green onion country pleasing. That's not all. Little original smoked sausage flavor. That's not all. Jalapeno and cheddar. It has to be one of my favorite, just judging by how much of that stuff I eat. Oh, can't forget. Andouille. Don't be saying andouille, it's andouille. And last, but not least, pork and pineapple, bun size, 3 links, bun size. Look at that right there. Be careful. Come on with it. It's mine. Come here, jalapeno. Oh, that's all mine. Country pleasing sausage.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Welcome to my photography studio downtown Tupelo. Everybody needs a headshot, especially if you're in the professional world, in sales, any sort of customer related business, outreach business, anything like that. Everybody needs a headshot. Here at my photography studio in Tupelo, we do a lot more than just headshots, but we're kind of focusing on headshots for that very reason, because everybody needs it. Let me show you a little something about it. One thing I'm able to do here is sort of have 2 to 3 different looks in a small space that we can do in a short amount of time. Several different looks and styles of lighting with studio equipment, studio lighting. Some with flash and a particular look that I've worked on, a constant lighting scenario where you sit down, the lights are already on, you lean in, and we kind of illuminate the whole face. And we get several options in the studio in a short amount of time. Here's 2 priorities for me when I shoot headshots. One is it has to look like you. Okay, none of this fake stuff. The other goal is it's got to look like you at your best. And that's my job as a photographer. And I've got a lot of experience over the years, and I feel really confident I can do that for you. I would love to schedule a session for you here at the studio in downtown Tupelo. I'm above the Reed's Gift Shop, just off of Troy Street, the corner of Troy and Spring. If you can't get to Tupelo, that's okay. Let's talk about it, because we can pack the studio up and come to you if the schedules fit and that sort of thing. I'd love to help you with your headshots. I think everybody needs them. I'm inviting you to please email me, reach out. You can go to my website, mattwhyattmedia.com, email address matt@mattwhyattmedia.com, and let's talk about your headshot.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi, local agents in all 82 counties. So here's what that means. You have that fender bender, hopefully you don't, but let's say you do at an odd time. Something goes on. It's Saturday night at 11 p.m. You don't have to wait until Monday morning to call some 800 number and talk to someone 3 states away. You've got your agent's phone number right there on your phone because you go to church with him. Your kids go to school together. He lives right down the road. You see each other at the ball games on Friday nights. So it's personal with your local Farm Bureau insurance agent in all 82 counties in this entire state. And if anything does arise and you need to, run it up the chain or up the flagpole, the home offices for Farm Bureau Insurance are in Jackson, Mississippi. It's right here in the state of Mississippi. It doesn't get more local than and personal, the service that you get with Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. I can't recommend them highly enough. And if you haven't, recently, let them give you a quote. Home, life, auto. It's Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team.
For their clients, let them fight on your behalf, helping to put your tax problems to rest. Call the tax professionals at Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Hey y'all, Matt Wyatt here. Each week on the Mississippi Outdoors Podcast, we talk with the people who live it. Hunters, biologists, game wardens, local celebrities, and storytellers that know Mississippi better than anyone.
Those bass come up there and attack them. You know how mean bass can be there.
You're never going to believe this. Matt Wyatt just talked about your deer on the radio. I said, what did he say? He said, it was Photoshopped. And I said, what?
They don't know anything about hunting. They just have never had that right, that freedom.
Dude, that's us, man. That's what we do. So tune in. Be inspired, and we'll see you outdoors.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Yeah.
Farm Bureau Insurance.
Now, here we go.
At the Zone 1059.com.
All right. Back with you. I'm Matt. Hour 2 of the show off and running with you here in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Farm Bureau Insurance, go! With the home team, they are your home team. You can be a part of the show. Lots of ways to do that. Hey to you out there in Facebook and YouTube and X, formerly Twitter land. Feel free to type in a comment, post it. It pops up in this nice, neat column on one of these monitors. And this, if you could see, look at the screens everywhere in there. And one of them, there's this column where all those comments come in. And I see them all in one place. And so then when I click it, it pops up on the screen so that you can see it. So, like, for example, Will's on YouTube said, Happy Thursday. Back at you, Will. Glad you're here. Octavian, we got to meet Octavian earlier in the week. Gave us a call even on the junction phone. Good to see you. He says, Matt, what are your thoughts on if we get Glenn Schulman from Georgia? I think I'm saying that right. I don't know who that is, Octavian. I'll need a little context if we're talking about a football player or what. You know, I regretfully, there's only so much time in a day and only so many minutes and hours in that amount of time in a day where one person can pay attention to things. And I choose not to give any of my attention to any sort of, keeping up with recruiting and rosters because I think it's all a big fat mess right now. I don't think there's really much point in me keeping up with it. So therefore, I kind of am out. So that may be something that has slipped by me. I don't know who it is. I'll just need a little help on it, Octavian. Which is another thing you learn about this show. Not only do we go into some food every now and then, or maybe a fishing story or some of that stuff, everything's pretty much fair game. And that's another thing, too, is this is not one where the host is always educating everyone else. A lot of times it's the other way around. You guys will help educate me. And if we can keep that going in a fun, entertaining way, then it'll keep working. You can also text me on the Country Pleasing text line. The number to text is 885-3776. That's a 601 number, 885-3776. And then that's the Country Pleasing text line. Country Pleasing sausage on grocery store shelves all around the Southeast. Somebody texted in and said, what has happened to Seth Davis? Well, the obvious answer is, a couple of years ago, he blew his knee out at the end of the year. Missed all of last year, healing from it, getting ready to go. He's back this year, and played some and did some good things in preseason practice. Whether or not he's banged up, I'm not aware of that. But I would think that in the running back room, it's probably just really tough when you have Booth and Fluff Bothwell and Johnny Daniels in that group. It'd be hard for him or anybody else, to push through and get some PT in these early games. And, as you go through the year and guys get banged up and the rotation expands, it does every year at those platoon positions like running back. You will see some more snaps every now and then. But then Xavier Gayton, who can absolutely fly. He's the young guy who has kind of gotten the number 4 reps in that group and has been healthy. So I think that's probably what you're looking at. Andre from Jackson texted in. He said, Beaver, watch. He says, Mac Jones will be the starting quarterback for the 49ers. He said, that's the one your coach wanted 3 years ago. Signed, Andre from Jackson. So you're saying that Shanahan 3 years ago really wanted Mac Jones out of Alabama. So he's got a shot with him now because Purdy's banging. What's he going to miss? 3 weeks, I think they said. So you keep an eye on that. The game tonight ought to be fairly interesting. I meant to mention that earlier, but you have Packers hosting the Commanders. So Washington at Green Bay. It's tonight. Green Bay week 1. After Micah Parsons gets traded there, he had maybe 1 week, probably less than a full week, right, to the first game to actually play for him. Did play for him, did some good things. It had been a little banged up back issue, but some people were like, well, I don't know that he looked all that great. Well, the thing is he hadn't practiced. And when you're not practicing every day, every rep, you can be a great athlete. It's not possible for you to be in the same kind of shape as the ones who've been practicing every day, all the reps. So as that builds up, I think Parsons is probably going to look better and better for the Packers. And, you get to the end of the year, he's probably going to play really good football. Hey, Jason gave us a tagline if we were to ever, advertise or market this show. And the tagline is, catch up with sports, food, weather, fishing, snakes in the flower bed, etc. on the Matt Wyatt Show. That's a great line, Jason. Checks in the mail. We may use that. Catch up with sports, food, weather, fishing, and snakes in the flower bed on the Matt Wyatt Show. Let's do headlines right now.
Good evening. I'm Ron Burgundy, and this is what's happening in your world.
Good evening and welcome to Eyewitness News.
Here's what's making news.
Headlines on the show brought to you by the Mortgage Man Group, powered by Illuminate Bank right here in Mississippi. So anything mortgage related, that's where you want to go. Buying, refinancing, whatever. Here in the metro, places like Starkville, Oxford, Tupelo, in between, that's where you go. MortgageManMS.com. All right. Headline number 1. 4 people have been arrested in connection to that shooting of Florida State linebacker Ethan Pritchard. This is according to Florida Department of Law Enforcement Commissioner Mark Glass. He gave an interview yesterday. He said that the player himself, Pritchard, did nothing wrong. He was ambushed outside of an apartment last month. He was in a car. He was driving it, dropping some family members, and there was a child present when he was shot in the back of the head. They've arrested 4. And to that, we tip our cap. Round of applause. SEC football coaches yesterday expressed support for a proposed move of college football's transfer portal window from December to January. Now, on the other side of this is Ryan Day at Ohio State. He said he was not a fan of the proposal. The SEC differs from Ryan Day. It's a little complicated and convoluted, and I'm not sure I care enough to really figure it. Let me know when it's going to be. It's kind of like the roster. Tell me who's on the team. Give me a roster. Otherwise, y'all figure it out. Y'all are making the big bucks. You figure it out. Okay, and here you go. Alabama's getting ready to host Wisconsin this weekend, and they're unranked, but they are unbeaten. But Wisconsin starting quarterback Billy Edwards Jr. is unlikely to play in this game at Alabama on Saturday. It's in Tuscaloosa. It's weird. He's going to travel with the team. He's going to warm up for the game. But they say he's got long odds of actually playing in the game. Sprained his knee in the opener against Miami. They won it 17-0. Danny O'Neal, a sophomore who transferred there from San Diego State, is going to start for the Badgers. All right, so there you go. Those are your headlines brought to you by the Mortgage Man Group, powered by Illuminate Bank right here in Mississippi. Find them online at mortgagemanms.com. Here is my man Real C. He sent in Romans 12:18 from the New Testament, quoting, "If it is possible, so far as it depends on you, live peacefully with all." And Real C, I'm a fan of Ray Comfort, Living Waters out in California. And, in terms of witnessing and talking to people, like he's the leader. He shows the way to do it. He's a really clever guy. And I love in some of his speeches, he'll say, and the word all in the original Hebrew word that is translated all actually meant in the original Hebrew, all. A-L-L, all. If it is possible, so far as it depends on you, live peacefully with all. All right, let's see here. I know there's some typos, but I'm going to try to paraphrase and read this because I noticed it. I noticed what you're talking about. Unnamed texter says, okay, wait a minute. His name is Bulldog X3. This is Bulldog X3. And he says, has anybody brought your attention to when State was about to take the field on that last drive, the way that Kamario Taylor supported Chapin? He was giving him a lot of encouragement. He said, "This is amazing from a freshman. What do you think?" Well, I did absolutely notice it. I was going back and watching it over again, watching things over again, just kind of skipping through commercials. And this probably was sometime maybe Sunday afternoon or evening. And, I was, I get to that part. And what I wanted to do was rewind it and maybe record that clip with my phone so that I could share it on social media. But I didn't. I not out of laziness. It's just that, sometimes you're watching a game on the app that comes from the acronym. It's a little clunky. And if you stop it, you may never get it started again. So anyway, I did. But absolutely, I did notice this. And what he's talking about, if you didn't see it, you hold with, 2 minutes, less than 2 minutes left. You hold Arizona State to a field goal. They take a 3-point lead, 20-17. State's going to get the ball back on this kickoff. They've got no timeouts and less than 2 minutes to go on a drive to score a touchdown to win the game. And they showed several different shots, camera shots of different things, crowd, building it up. Then they cut to a field level shot over the shoulder of Blake Shapen, who's warming up, getting his arm loose, getting ready to throw the football. And here comes Kamario Taylor, comes bounding right up to him, this freshman quarterback, looks right in his face, gets nose to nose with him, and gives him a pep talk. And then you could read his lips. He said more than once, "I believe in you. We believe in you. Let's go." And I just thought, okay, I love it. Not that that's, highly unusual for a teammate who's not playing in the game to be an encouragement to a teammate who is playing in the game. But this. I mean, sometimes quarterbacks can be different animals. It's a position where you don't platoon. We're not rotating. Once we get a starter, we're rolling with that guy. So if you don't win it, you're not playing much. And that almost never sits well with a lot of quarterbacks, even the good young ones. And he is a good young one. Okay, but what it shows me, and then you saw him sort of present in some of the celebrating and stuff afterwards, and what it shows me is he just, and it's not something you take for granted that you're always going to have it. You have to cultivate it within yourself as a player. But he just naturally has a winning outlook on things. The guy he's not selfish. He's not some 5-star with all world hype, which he is, which he has, who's over there chewing on his mouthpiece with his hands behind his back, just hoping somebody puts him in the game and not caring about anything else. He's a part of the team. He cares about whether or not the team wins, whether he plays or not. You may say, well, it's a little thing. Or, Matt, you're over dramatizing it because Kamario Taylor is your quarterback. Well, maybe. I'm saying I didn't see anybody else do it. I saw him do it because it's my team, because that's who I was watching. And I'm proud to see that. It sent the right signals to me that, okay, here's a wild comparison, but it's the best of that kind of stuff. He was the best at that kind of stuff, I remember, and that was Dak. That's a Dak type of thing. I remember when Dak was a freshman at State. We're going out to the farm to watch Dan Mullen put his team through a week of practices out on the farm. They do it on purpose, right? Bust them away from one side of campus, get all the way over there where you got cows walking up to the fence. Wanted it to be as old school and as hot and as removed from the rest of the world as he could get. And it worked well for him for a while. And I went out there one day, and there was a time where they had a break, and about the middle of practice, they had finally worked up and done a period of 11-on-11 scrimmaging. They did about 15 plays. It was physical. It was hot. There's flies buzzing around. I mean, it's dirt and dust and grit. Guys getting sick, and they finally gave them a break, and they're getting water. Some of them, it's all they could do to, stand up without putting their hips on their hands on their hips. And then here's this freshman. I didn't even know who he was. He'd got sweat dripping off both earlobes and his nose and his chin, and he's going up to these older guys and he's hollering and screaming about, let's go. This is what it's about. You're not tired. Stop acting like you're tired. Let's go. And it's Dak. And I remember going, what number is that? It's 15. Who is that? And they said, that's Prescott. He's a new quarterback. So he just, those guys, when it gets the ones who are special, and I know it's a projection for Camario. He hasn't done it yet. He's got to go do it. From an ability and everything standpoint, there's no doubt he's special. But those guys who are like next level competitors, who have always won, the kind of guys who you could give them almost anybody to be teammates with and they'll figure out a way to win. They just have that about them. In the heat of the moment, they just naturally put the team over self. And that's what you're trying to get. And then when you get it, like I say, you can't take it for granted that you just have it. You have to cultivate it and keep it, and highlight it. So it was really good. I noticed it. To you may be rolling your eyes thinking, hey, man, that's not that unusual. Yeah, fine. I'm just telling you what I noticed. It stood out to me. And, yeah, I like it. And then, hey, look, it's also indicative of sort of a belief and a vibe that you have in your locker room. When you have a team that doesn't have much belief and doesn't have the right vibe, those kinds of things don't happen much. So there you go. It's good to see. Thanks for the question on that. Bulldog X3. Will said on YouTube, good slate of games this Saturday. Wisconsin, Alabama in Tuscaloosa. Georgia Tech, Clemson at 11. So I guess Wisconsin, Alabama at 11 also. Yeah, then Georgia, Tennessee at 2:30, of course. What do you think about that one? South Florida and Miami, 3:30. Arkansas and Ole Miss at 6. I don't really know what to think about that one either. I mean, I think Arkansas is a little better. I don't know if they're good enough, though. Then you get A&M versus Notre Dame, Florida versus LSU, and Vandy, South Carolina at 6:30. Wow. And then he said, and of course you got State playing Alcorn at 5. Yeah, in terms of league games and big games, I mean, that is a heck of a slate right there now. Much different this week, Will, than last week. Right? Much different. For sure. And then he says, okay, other notable games. And I tell you what we'll do is in a minute we'll come back and I'll just kind of go through the schedule. And he said other notable games. You got Pitt, West Virginia, the 108th rendition of the Backyard Brawl this week. App State, who is 2-0, facing off against Southern Miss in Hattiesburg. How about that? How about App State, a 2.5-point favorite at Southern Miss? Whew. How about that? I mean, Southern Miss, they fought State pretty hard week 1. Then last week, Jackson State went in there and fought them really hard that entire ball game. That was, it was a good win for Southern Miss, but Jackson State really played well. But I still have only watched highlights. I still have yet to go back and watch that whole thing again. I need to do that. West Virginia, Pitt, App State, favored on the road at Southern Miss. Who's App State beating? I don't know. Yeah, it is a good slate of games. I'm looking forward to it. Let's see. So if you have, I'm trying to think my schedule doing radio for State. If we, pregame will start at 3 p.m. on the radio. I don't know, maybe get there around 2. Yeah, so it'll be kind of a day of watching games from the press box for the most part. It'll eat up the day. There'll be no sitting on the couch watching games for me. That's right. All right, look, there's a couple of things also I want to do with our time that's left here in hour 2. When we come back, I want you to hear a little bit of the Q&A that Neil Price did with Jeff Levy after the win over Arizona State. you hear as a fan a good bit of the interview stuff and sometimes the press conference stuff. They'll do like a Monday press conference. They do a Wednesday telephone deal, and there's no video element. That's those comments will make it out there. Sometimes they get shared around. And sometimes that immediate reaction interview that happens in the locker room right after he's won the game, he's addressed the team, and then he steps into a room and talks to Neil. Sometimes that one sort of gets lost in the shuffle because, people are driving home. They may hear it live, but you don't hear it repeated. But to me, it's kind of like you're talking to the coach with very little time having passed or elapsed since the game happened. And there's some neat things that are in it. It's not a very long interview, so I'll give you a snippet of that coming up. Levy in the locker room talking to Neil after the ball game Saturday night. You might find it interesting. And then, of course, some time here on a Thursday to go run down that schedule. We'll look at SEC. We'll look at top 25, other notables. We'll look at the SWAC and see when everybody's playing in the SWAC. All that coming up. We got plenty of time to do that and more. Here in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio, Farm Bureau Insurance. Go! With the home team. Back after this.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Hey y'all, Matt Wyatt here. Each week on the Mississippi Outdoors Podcast, we talk with the people who live it. Hunters, biologists, game wardens, local celebrities, and storytellers that know Mississippi better than anyone.
Those bass come up there and attack them. You know how mean bass can be there.
You're never going to believe this. Matt Wyatt just talked about your deer on the radio. I said, what did he say? He said, it was Photoshopped. And I said, what?
They don't know anything about hunting. They just have never had that right, that freedom.
Dude, that's us, man. That's what we do. So tune in. Be inspired, and we'll see you outdoors.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Yeah. Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. Local agents in all 82 counties. So here's what that means. You have that fender bender, hopefully you don't, but let's say you do at an odd time. Something goes on. It's Saturday night at 11 p.m. You don't have to wait until Monday morning to call some 800 number and talk to someone 3 states away. You've got your agent's phone number right there on your phone because you go to church with him. Your kids go to school together. He lives right down the road. You see each other at the ball games on Friday nights. So it's personal with your local Farm Bureau insurance agent in all 82 counties in this entire state. And if anything does arise and you need to, run it up the chain or up the flagpole, the home offices for Farm Bureau Insurance are in Jackson, Mississippi. It's right here in the state of Mississippi. It doesn't get more local than and personal, the service that you get with Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. I can't recommend them highly enough. And if you haven't, recently, let them give you a quote. Home, life, auto. It's Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Well, look at what we have here. Christmas come early. Boom. Little green onion country pleasing. That's not all. Little original smoked sausage flavor. That's not all. Jalapeno and cheddar. It has to be one of my favorite, just judging by how much of that stuff I eat. Oh, can't forget. Andouille. Don't be saying andouille, it's andouille. And last, but not least, pork and pineapple, bun size, 3 links bun size. Look at that right there. Be careful. Come on with it. It's mine. Come here, jalapeno. Oh, that's all mine. Country pleasing sausage. The Junction Delis, Convenience Redefined, and Prince Oil Company, a match made in heaven. The Junction Deli, fueled by Prince Oil Company. Prince Oil Company has been fueling Central Mississippi since 1960s, pretty good little while. Wonderful people. Man, am I ever more tickled that they're a part of the show and I'm a part of their team now. As you know, if you listen to the radio show, I've been to the Junction in several different places around the state. I've bought gas just like you at a lot of places that are fueled by Prince Oil Company, and they are really wonderful people. By the way, that brand spanking new Junction Deli, Chevron, right across the highway from Germantown High School. It's in Canton. We say Gluckstadt. Do you realize they...
Now on the Zone 105.9 and worldwide at thezone1059.com.
Back with you, I'm Matt Jershuntas. I got your comment here on the YouTube live stream, and I appreciate that. Going back to last week, that call on the radio. Yeah, it was kind of one of those thinking out loud moments. I was like, throw it. And he let it go. I'm like, touchdown. This is over. And then the catch, and then Brennan Thompson walked it in the end zone. Hey, and did you see? You know, I've never been that much of a fan of all this NIL stuff. But did you see where Brennan Thompson used his NIL money or some of it and bought a bass boat, a camouflage like a loon, and looks like it's somewhere in the neighborhood of about, 16, 17 feet. Did I see what type of outboard? That looks like it may be around a 90. That might be a 90 outboard. I mean, a custom boat. It's like got Hail State written all over it and everything. And I thought to myself, okay, I haven't been big on this NIL stuff. But that's pretty cool right there. If kids are going to start buying bass boats, it might make me feel a little different about some of this. Just to be honest with you. Hey, okay, as promised, it really is true. You know, you win a game like State won, an upset, and you have a big moment. And then what you hear afterwards, like in the week or so, in the few days after, I know we're Thursday now, you have a press conference and a few other these things, but there's some pretty cool stuff that is in the audio of when the game's over. And since, a little insight here, the way this works, Neil and I are in the broadcast booth, Jay Perry on the field. You have this year, Marcus Hunter comes in and actually hosts the fifth quarter show. But before the fifth quarter show begins, you end the game, you have final comments, do the player of the game. You go to that first break, commercial break after the game. They're still on the field this week. Neil jumps up, zips to the elevator, zips down, and gets to the locker room as fast as he can get there because he's conducting an interview, at least one, sometimes more than one, but doing one with the coach. And so there's a little bit of a break, and other people handle stuff before it comes back to the booth, and then runs the interview that he's just gotten done with the coach down there in the locker room, you see. So recency on this particular interview. And sometimes you hear it live, but very seldom do you hear it in a repeat. So it's a pretty neat thing. So here's a little bit of that, where Neil, right after that game, Levy had just gotten in, just spoke to the team, and then he steps over into a side room by the training part of the locker room, whatever, and gets to talk with Neil. And here's a little bit of that interview. I thought it was really good.
I don't know where to start. So I'll just ask you a simple question. How'd you get it done?
Yeah, our guys believed. They did. And to go through everything that we went through there in the second half after playing the way we played in the first half, man, to get the goal line stand and hold them to a field goal, we knew at that moment had a real opportunity to go win the game.
Yeah, and I'm going to come back to Brennan Thompson's touchdown at the end that put you over the top, but I'm glad you brought up the goal line stand. So the stop by Nick Mitchell and Malik Silla that holds them to a field goal, how significant is that play?
It gave us an opportunity to win the game in regulation, and now it couldn't have been a bigger play. And again, like for our guys to be able to go through what they went through and then get down there on I think a 17 or 18 play drive and keep them out of the end zone, man, it does. It shows belief, toughness, edge, physicality, and and just proud of our defensive unit for finding a way.
Yeah, that defense was on the field for that drive close to 9 minutes and still found a way to hold them to 3. So the winning play, the Blake Shapen to Brennan Thompson touchdown pass, number one, how does Brennan Thompson get that wide open? There was no one near him out there.
Yeah, he made a great decision on his route, and Blake did a great job of playing to him, and felt really good about it as soon as we saw the structure of the defense. As soon as I called it, thought we were going to have a chance. And I'll be dang if Brennan doesn't make a great decision. Blake gives him a great ball, and we go win the game.
And Blake had gone through a stretch. I pointed this out at the end of the game. Toward the end of the third quarter, last 5 minutes, and early into the fourth, I think he had missed on 6 of 8 pass attempts. Yeah. He ends the game 4 of 5. What's it say about his resolve that he weathered a storm and found a way to make the biggest passes when he needed them?
Yeah, he just stayed the course, and he continued to play the next play. We had some drops in there. We had some communication issues. There were all kinds of issues. But for us to get the ball back, no timeouts, and down a field goal, and him operate the way he did was special.
Matt made this comment toward the end of the game. We're watching all the people that have just spilled out of the stands onto the field. Your guys were out there at the end. You saw just the pure joy that came from people around here. And Matt said to me, he said, this is a program builder. This is how you start it. Does it feel that way from your seat?
Yeah, I think it just shows that, man, we're moving in the right direction. And now we've got to just continue to take that next step. That's what this deal is going to be all about. And one game at a time, have the ability to get in there, be really critical of ourselves on the tape and get better from it. And, man, we're at Davis Wade the next 3 weeks. And so having the ability to come back home next weekend, Saturday evening, it'll be a great opportunity just to go 3-0.
We've talked about Brennan, obviously, with the game-winning catch from Blake, but he and Anthony were both fantastic for you as receivers tonight. Were these the kind of performance, and both of them went over 100 yards, these the kind of performances that you thought you had when you brought those guys in the program?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's exactly what we expected. They've done a really good job for us. They both had opportunities to have even bigger nights. And I think that's going to be the fun thing as we get in there is how much better we can play, and we're going to need to play. But proud of those two for their production for sure.
All right, so that's a little bit of in the locker room right after. And, there were several things I took from that. One, though, trying to kind of read the nonverbal. I think he was a little worn out. and two, I couldn't help but wonder, too, if, as a head coach, older guys, your perspective on things a little broader than maybe your players are, and you're celebrating that win, you're tickled for it, really. But you're also getting the news that, and he probably knew already at that point that this injury to Will Whitson, his best defensive lineman pass rusher, was really significant, maybe going to cost him the rest of the season. And it might have actually, put a little damper, frankly, on some of the excitement. I mean, that's a possibility. All right. What'd you think? Text me, call me, comment on the live stream. Speaking of calls, right now, over to the Junction phone, fueled by Prince Oil Company. They've been fueling Central Mississippi since 1960. Fuel in your vehicle and then go inside of the Junction Deli and put a little fuel in your stomach. And on the Junction phone, it is Terrence on line 1. Thanks for calling, Terrence. What's up?
Hey, what's going on, man? How you doing this afternoon?
Doing great. Hope you're doing well.
That's good. That's good. I just wanted to get your thoughts on the Alcorn State Mississippi State game coming up on Saturday. What your initial thoughts are?
Well, State has a tremendous advantage in every way that you look at it. On the field, obviously. They're 2-0. Alcorn State 0-2. State's got a really highly recruited and sought after, and in many cases highly paid for roster. And so it's two different things. But one thing Alcorn has going for it is there's no pressure, there's no expectation whatsoever, and they're playing an opponent who just had a massive celebration less than a week ago. And not everybody gets right back down to earth and plays their best the week after they pull off a big win. So, I don't know. Anything can happen.
Yeah, that's true. And it would be hard for any team after you come off a big win to there may be a little bit of a letdown. That's just human nature. That's kind of just part of the game. But me and my family, we are looking forward to coming to Starkville on this weekend. We look to have a good time and enjoy the sights and sounds of the area, and just really looking forward to it. And hopefully you'll get a chance to see the Sounds of Dynamite perform at halftime, and maybe you can get to add another clip to your soundboard.
Yeah, I really am looking forward to it. I remember when they were there, ever how many years ago? I think this is right around 2012 or 13 maybe, and they came, and of course you got to see the Alcorn band at halftime, and I was like, man, they're really good. And I made a comment to a friend of mine in Tupelo who is a Jackson State alum. I said, hey, listen, Alcorn's band is really good. I mean, they might have been right up there with the Sonic Boom. He looked at me and he said, Matt, don't go there. Don't do that. I said, okay. But they were really good. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, I think everybody's looking forward to it. It's probably the only time this season where you may not see people go to the concession stands at halftime. They'll just sit there.
That's about right.
After the halftime show to go to the concession stand.
It really is true.
One more thing, Matt. I don't know if it was a texter or a caller that mentioned about Matt Jones starting for the 49ers, which is true. He is going to start on Sunday against the Saints. And that game kind of scares me. That game has always scared me, even before Purdy went down. I will say this. Me and Beavers Niners, the injuries have hit us like a ton of bricks. And I don't know if the team can survive getting injuries to key players for several weeks. It's going to be tough. But I think this is going to be a low-scoring game. I'm going to say Niners 20, Saints 17. And as I usually say when I get off the phone, Matt, bang, bang, Niners game. Thank you, Matt. We look forward to seeing y'all this weekend.
Yeah, you too. Appreciate the call. How about that? 2017 Niners over Saints. If you get a 3-point game, I mean, that'll be fun to watch. But even banged up, everybody still expects the 49ers to beat them. I don't know. We'll see. We shall see. The ball's in the hands of Mac Jones. We shall see. Back after this, we'll go over the schedule. Stick around.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Hey y'all, Matt Wyatt here. Each week on the Mississippi Outdoors Podcast, we talk with the people who live it. Hunters, biologists, game wardens, local celebrities, and storytellers that know Mississippi better than anyone.
Those bass come up there and attack them. You know how mean bass can be there.
You're never going to believe this. Matt Wyatt just talked about your deer on the radio. I said, what did he say? He said, it was Photoshopped. And I said, what?
They don't know anything about hunting. They just have never had that right, that freedom.
Dude, that's us, man. That's what we do. So tune in. Be inspired, and we'll see you outdoors.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Yeah. Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. Local agents in all 82 counties. So here's what that means. You have that fender bender, hopefully you don't, but let's say you do at an odd time. Something goes on. It's Saturday night at 11 p.m. You don't have to wait until Monday morning to call some 800 number and talk to someone 3 states away. You've got your agent's phone number right there on your phone because you go to church with him. Your kids go to school together. He lives right down the road. You see each other at the ball games on Friday nights. So it's personal with your local Farm Bureau insurance agent in all 82 counties in this entire state. And if anything does arise and you need to, run it up the chain or up the flagpole, the home offices for Farm Bureau Insurance are in Jackson, Mississippi. It's right here in the state of Mississippi. It doesn't get more local than and personal, the service that you get with Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. I can't recommend them highly enough. And if you haven't, recently, let them give you a quote. Home, life, auto. It's Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Well, look at what we have here. Christmas come early. Boom. Little green onion country pleasing. That's not all. Little original smoked sausage flavor. That's not all. Jalapeno and cheddar. It has to be one of my favorite, just judging by how much of that stuff I eat. Oh, can't forget. Andouille. Don't be saying andouille, it's andouille. And last, but not least, pork and pineapple. Bun size, 3 links, bun size. Look at that right there. Be careful. Come on with it. It's mine. Come here, jalapeno. Oh, that's all mine. Country pleasing sausage. The Junction Deli's, convenience redefined, and Prince Oil Company, a match made in heaven. The Junction Deli, fueled by Prince Oil Company. Prince Oil Company has been fueling Central Mississippi since 1960. It's a pretty good little while. Wonderful people. Man, am I ever more tickled that they're a part of the show and I'm a part of their team now. As you know, if you listen to the radio show, I've been to the Junction in several different places around the state. I've bought gas just like you at a lot of places that are fueled by Prince Oil Company, and they are really wonderful people. By the way,
.com.
All right, back with you. A little bit of time left with you here on this Thursday. Getting closer and closer to the weekend. I'm Matt. Beaver is here. You are here in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Farm Bureau, go! With the home team. For those that are watching the live stream, Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter. So on the TV in the studio here, you can see it on the monitor. You can find it on YouTube. It's the old Capital City Classic, 1994 Jackson State versus Alcorn and Steve McNair. And it's like it's pretty much the whole broadcast, I think minus commercials and stuff. And they're in the halftime show right now. And earlier today when I found that and I started to watch a little bit of it, I think I recognized those voices. I knew I could recognize maybe one of them. And so a minute ago they put them on the camera, and one of them is Rob J. So apparently, I don't know if it was just a local WLBT television broadcast of that, or if it involved other affiliates or what. I don't know. But there was Rob J. and somebody. Rob was the play-by-play, and somebody else was the color. Man, you talking about looking young. This is 94, but man, Rob was just a young fella back then. Anyway, it was really neat to see that. And it was a really nice TV broadcast. I look forward to watching the second half. But speaking of watching, okay, here's your games coming up this weekend. We went over a few of the highlights. Thanks to Will on the YouTube live stream. He gave me the high points of the schedule. But we'll go college football first. And tonight, it's ACC but unranked. 6:30 kick tonight on the acronym between Wake Forest and NC State. Wake Forest is 2-0. Underdog at home. Sven told us earlier that they're terrible. They have 2 wins, 2-0. They won against Kennesaw State and Western Carolina. And then NC State in there also 2-0. They're favored. You do have some Friday games, college football. I mean, most of us will be paying attention to high school stuff tomorrow, but just in case you'll be at home and you want to watch college, you have some. Tomorrow, Friday, 5:30 on the Big Ten Network. It's Indiana hosting Indiana State. Indiana's ranked. Big, huge, humongous favorite at home. Tomorrow night, 6 on the ACC Network, Syracuse hosts Colgate. 6:30 on the acronym tomorrow night, Houston hosting Colorado. 8 on Fox tomorrow night, Arizona hosting Kansas State. And at 9 Tomorrow night on the Big Ten Network, UCLA hosting New Mexico. You know the Big Ten, UCLA? Yeah, 9 p.m. Central Time kick. Yeah. Them. So around the SEC on Saturday, all the SEC teams playing on Saturday, no Thursday or Friday stuff. Chronologically, here you go. 11 a.m. on the Deuce, it's Oklahoma at Temple up in Philadelphia. 11 a.m. on ABC, it's Bama hosting Wisconsin. 11:45 on the network, it's Auburn hosting South Alabama. Have you ever seen people higher on a team and more complimentary of a team than people are of Auburn after beating Baylor and Ball State? I mean, at some point, Auburn will be brought back down to earth, and then everybody who's been patting them on the back here for a couple of weeks, including their own conference network, will ignore them like they, have sores all over them or something when they have to go to Oklahoma and A&M back-to-back and then host Georgia. You know what I'm saying? Like, just get ready, Auburn fans. I hate it. Robbie, I'm pulling for you, man, but I'm just telling you that's what's going to happen. Saturday, 2:30 ABC, big game. Tennessee hosting Georgia. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about it? Think Georgia for sure? For sure in Knoxville? I mean, I think so, but I don't know, about 80% sure. 3 p.m. Saturday on the Plus, Missouri will play Louisiana. 3:15 on the network, it's Texas hosting UTEP. Be another opportunity for Arch Manning and the Longhorns to inflate their stats and get their averages back where they look respectable after being shut down in week 1 by Ohio State. San Jose State and UTEP back-to-back. Boy, howdy. 6 p.m. Saturday night on the acronym, it's Ole Miss hosting Arkansas. And, I mean, you would think certainly big advantage Ole Miss. Both teams 2-0. And Arkansas better. Got a good athletic quarterback. Arkansas has a couple things going for them. One is they've played nobody to this point. They played Alabama, A&M, and Arkansas State back-to-back, and they put up 50 points each week. So in terms of good live reps against a live opponent where you see yourself, get to visualize yourself having success, Arkansas has had a bunch of that. The bad side is, though, I mean, for the first time, they're going to step on the field against a real football team this week and have to do it at Vaught-Hemingway. I would think big advantage, Rebs. Saturday night on ABC is LSU hosting Florida. Are you thinking that's an LSU blowout, or does Florida regroup? What do you think? Feels like one of those, like LSU will win it, but they will sure make it ugly. Like win it by 2 field goals, like by 6 or something, and you're expecting them to blow it out. And then 6:30 Saturday night on NBC, Notre Dame hosting Texas A&M. That'll be a lot of fun. Yeah. Of course, at 5 in there, mixed in at 5 on the Plus. If you want to watch online, you can watch State host Alcorn State. Night games in the SEC, Saturday night, 6:30 on the U, Kentucky hosting Eastern Michigan. And then 6:45, keep an eye on it, on the network. Vandy goes to South Carolina. And I'm telling you, it wouldn't surprise me one bit if Vandy goes in there and wins it. Would it you? Wouldn't surprise me one bit. And they've got the common opponent who South Carolina struggled with on a neutral site. I mean, say struggle. I mean, it did for a little while. Didn't necessarily blow the game open on a neutral site. Vandy goes to Virginia Tech and is trailing at half and then blows the door off in the second half of that ballgame. So I don't know. I don't know what to expect. In the SWAC this weekend, of course, we know Alcorn State is at State in Starkville, 5 p.m. kick for that one at Davis Wade. 2 o'clock on Saturday in Jackson at Memorial Stadium, Jackson State's hosting Tuskegee. What were the numbers in that Southern Miss game last week? Because you remember week 1, Jackson State played Hampton, beat them 28-14, and just ran the ball at will. All right. And against Southern Miss, Jackson State piled up 191 yards rushing. Travis Terrell Jr., 10 carries, 80 yards. Didn't have a touchdown. He had a 47-yarder, but that's an 8-yard per carry average on 10 carries. That ain't bad at all. They had two others that averaged right at 4 yards a carry. And Amari Matthews got 4 carries, 29 and a score, averaged 7.3. Of course, most of his yards were on 1 carry. But still, they really ran the ball at Southern Miss and had some success doing it. So you would think Jackson State at home Saturday hosting Tuskegee, who they are 2-0, would be able to line up and run the football. Who else? Valley is at Southeast Louisiana Saturday night at 6. Valley's 0-2, C-Law 1-1. So there you go. There's a look at those matchups. What else we got? Top 25 that's of interest. Of course, we talked about some of those earlier. Again, Will mentioned them to me on YouTube. You get an 11 a.m. game with Georgia Tech hosting Clemson. It wouldn't surprise me one bit if Brent Key and Georgia Tech beat Clemson in that ball game. Wouldn't surprise me one bit. Let's see. Penn State, Villanova, no. Nah. Miami and South Florida. That's 3:30 on the CW network. How about that? South Florida 2-0. They're ranked, but Miami's a big old favorite. Anything else? Not really. Not really anything else. Maybe one to keep an eye on. Late Saturday night, 7 p.m. kick, CBS Sports Network. You have ranked Utah 2-0 going to Wyoming, who's 2-0. How about that? Andre on the Country Pleasing text line wants to bet some money. He says, Matt, I will bet you $100 that Alcorn State scores first. So you're saying first on the board, strike up the band, the sounds of dynamite, because Alcorn is going to score first. They might do it. Listen, it's weird. To say it, I'll be full on impressed with State's coaching staff and its older players, leaders, if they're really tightly wound and sharp for 4 quarters in this ballgame. Because, a lot of times you go non-conference against an FCS the week after you have some big upset of a ranked team like they had this past week and you storm the field. A lot of times you come back and no matter how hard you try, you're flat and a little, not as sharp. So if they are sharp, it'll be a sign that you got some guys who are mature and a coaching staff who can tie up all the loose ends before a game the next week. We'll see. That's it for today. For Beaver, I'm Matt. All of us here in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you tomorrow. Okay? See you then.